Welcome back to my channel. This is Coach Ware, continuing our coverage of the 4-2-5 defense. We've gone through basic alignments. We've talked about different coverages, and now we're getting into different stunts that you can run up front with your defense alignment. So for this video, this will be fairly short. It's a pretty simple, basic stunt combo that we ran. We would generally not just run it for the sake of running it. We usually had some sort of blitz going along with it, or maybe even spying with one of our linebackers. So what we have is in and out. I would think in terms of in, most of you would use the terminology pinch. Again, you use whatever terminology you come up with. You can keep it simple. You can make it more complex. It just depends on the intelligence of your defense and your D linemen. So if we are doing this from our basic alignment, it's only going to impact one of the two interior linemen. We never really had a true in and out where everybody was going to pinch to their inside gaps. Obviously, there is, room for that within this defense, and then you could obviously come up with whatever terminology for it. So for right now, the only thing that's going to change is for the mic and the tackle. The tackle now is going A gap, and the mic is going to take the B gap. Again, it's just something to get you out of an offense and an offensive lineman, knowing that these guys are gap sound. They're going to stick to their gaps, and they're not really going to change too much as to where they're going. If we were to run an out, it would impact only right now the nose and the will. The nose is going to take the B gap, and the will is going to go to the A gap. Again, pretty straightforward. Obviously, you can accomplish the same thing by just calling a blitz with your mic and your will to a specific gap to get these guys to go to the gap that you choose. So we didn't really run it a whole lot in terms of single sides. We did this out of different alignments up front. And again, it was a mix-up to not give tendencies to run and stunts, like our eats and our ties, and to not be giving away tendencies to nats and tans and some other things that we did. So when we did this, we're predominantly utilizing an even front is what we called it, or even alignment. So lining up in double threes, we would call in, which would then send both of our tackle and our nose to the A gaps. Our Mike and Will would be responsible for B gaps. And this could be for reasons where maybe we're playing a team whose quarterback isn't great at throwing on the run, and we're trying to force him out of the pocket. It could be, too, that maybe we're going to send a blitz off the edge, and we want both sides to pinch down. So there's various reasons to why you would do that. The other way we would do this is we would go from our odd alignment. So I liked running double ones in our odd. And then now we're going to run an out, and maybe, for the similar reasons with the quarterback that he's not great at stepping up into the pocket, and so we're going to force him and try to funnel him into the A gaps. It could be, too, that maybe we're going to spy the quarterback with the mic, and so we don't want him evading and eluding and escaping the pocket. We want him to step up and stay in. It could be tagged with blitzes from the mic or the will, just various reasons to why we would go and run in and out. And again, everything's going to be depending on game plans, what you like for the week. We may have ran in and out, a multitude of times back in 23, 24, and I can't recall running it at all last season. So it's just stuff that maybe just works better some years over others and against different teams. So we'll look at some film, and I do believe I have both in and out. I may only have one, and then usually those are going to be tagged with some sort of blitz with it. So we'll take a look at some film. All right, so here in this film, we have example of an out stunt being run with the two interior guys. This may have been a game. This was a playoff game. This was second half. This may have been a scenario where we may have been running gnats and tans or running some kind of blitz combinations with our backers. So I think, too, this was a quarterback that we wanted to keep in the pocket. And he, again, like, you're going to call stuff and the offense is going to be successful. So that's just football. So we got odd. We got double ones. They're running an out. So their goal is to get to those B gaps. And we'll just take a look at the play here. Okay, so I'd like to see them working a move. Again, you get a little hung up on the play action and then get caught up trying to go back to A gap from the one nose guard for whatever reason. So sometimes we run stuff great. Sometimes we get deceived by the backfield and then they complete a nice pass. Here's another look at it. Drone footage. Oh, I love it. Hopefully at some point for those coaches in my state, they'll pass laws that allow you to film games via drone. I think it'd do wonders just from the vantage point. So here again, we've got double ones. So we're in an odd alignment. We're going to run out. And you'll see as to what this does to the quarterback's eyes in terms of his thought process as far as where he's going to go. So if you're trying to keep a quarterback in the pocket, it's a good stunt to run. So we'll go ahead and take a look here. Okay, anytime you're slanting, you're bringing a move. I think these are our younger guys, so I'd like to see them working some sort of move with this stunt. And then you watch the quarterback here because he sees that, he's going to step up. He should step up into the pocket and then force an earlier aired throw. So we'll take that. Again, too, we talked about if we're running if we're pairing this up with, our Mike linebacker spying the quarterback, then we've created an alleyway to where he's going to escape and he's going to be in a good position to take on. Taking a look here at running in. Again, we discussed that you could do this from your normal alignment, but it wouldn't be much different than just tagging a Mike or Will linebacker blitz. So for this one, we're going from an even alignment, which means both of our tackle and nose are playing three techniques. They're going to slant to the A gaps. Again, anytime you're slanting, you're bringing a move. You're not just slanting to slant. I'm sure my guys that I coached have heard that enough to where it gives them some PTSD. Would love for the stance to be different here. This is early in the season, so a correctable error on his part that we rectified. Don't want that outside hand down and don't want that outside foot back. So we run a blitz with this, so our will linebacker is actually going to shoot B gap. And then anytime we were usually sending an inside linebacker blitz, I love defensive linemen crossing the face of the O-line just to divert eyes and hope that we get a good enough slant to where the linebacker comes free. So we'll watch it here. We'll start on the short side. So a little slow to get there. Would like to see him more through the inside shoulder and working a move to the wide side. He does a good job at getting there now. And then the guard does a really good job of passing off and picking up the blitzer. So, you got to kind of coach it and talk about it in terms of understanding what we're trying to get from it. If this was a situation where we're not blitzing, then maybe he'd attack more through that center shoulder. And same thing going this side, and maybe one of those guys gets free. Knowing that we are sending a backer to this B gap, his aiming point might be more through the inside shoulder of the guard so that he has to make a decision on who he's picking up.